Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Do you know what it means to be a motherless daughter? Did you know you can have mother loss without mother death? Mother loss comes in many forms, and Motherless Daughters Ministry is here to help you navigate through your particular mother loss. While you are unique, you are definitely not alone. We have 20 years worth of pearls of wisdom to help you on your mother loss journey, and we are sharing all of these pearls with you through this very podcast, Nurturing Words, Voices of Experience, sponsored lovingly by Motherless Daughters Ministry.
Hello, I'm Gladys Bell, your host. If you're new to our podcast, welcome. We're so pleased you have found us. We're a nonprofit ministry focused on serving women who have lost or missed the loving care of a mother. You can find out more information about our ministry through the links in our show notes. If you're a returning listener, we'd like to say thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope you're encouraged by our episodes. If you enjoy them, won't you take a moment to rate and review our programming on whatever platform you use? This simple task helps make sure our podcast reaches those who can use an encouraging word. Also, if you would like to support our podcast and ministry, check out the show notes for ways to donate or become involved. Before we get started with today's episode, I did want to highlight some new offerings for our ministry. We have offered one-on-one coaching now for a while, but we recently have added some new specialized options. We have offerings for recent loss, mother loss by suicide, daughters of narcissistic mothers, forgiveness, life skills, and more. Check our show notes for more information about coaching. In today's episode, we reflect on the emotional work of peeling back the layers in our healing journey. We explore how facing the hidden pain beneath our surface leads to deeper restoration and self-awareness. Through small, intentional steps, we begin to clear the path toward grace, healing, and renewed relationships. Now, listen in as we share a powerful revelation as experienced by blog writer Christine Fishe. We needed new flooring in our family room. Off-white carpet had existed in this room that is mostly used as a playroom for our 4 children and our 2 dogs since we first moved into our home over 10 years ago. The original shag is stained in many places from dripping red popsicles, apple juice from leaky cups, dropped bits of Play-Doh, and muddy boots and paws. It is a well-used room, situated between our backyard and garage. It is a terrible place for off-white carpeting. We decided to remove the carpet and prepare for the new floor installation ourselves. How hard could it be to pull up the old carpet that was already coming up along the wall? How difficult could it be to sweep and wash the exposed flooring underneath? Silly me. It was ugly. It was filthy. It was embarrassing. My husband cut and pulled up strips of the old carpeting, while I followed him, rolling the filthy, stinking carpet strips and taping them closed so they could be carried to the bottom of our driveway for trash pickup. Once the carpet was out, we did the same with the tattered padding underneath, and we found dirt that was so thick in some places it looked like a shallow sandbox. When I saw the dirt, I commented that the previous owners must have left it there when they installed the carpet. I really believed it couldn't have been our dirt, and I was angry that the carpet installation had been so poorly executed. As I spent an afternoon sweeping, scraping, scrubbing, and sweeping again, my anger at the previous homeowners gave way to cracks where truth seeped in. This was our dirt. Then a truth, even harder to swallow, poked its head out. I had arrogantly refused to believe the dirt was ours, and instead blamed others who were innocent and not even around to defend themselves. It struck me then that God was revealing to me something about myself. I have sometimes approached relationships in the same way I had approached this carpeting project. When I have found myself in a difficult spot with another person, with myself, or with my God, I have sometimes been blind to the ugliness within me. When dirt has been exposed, I have refused to accept that it is mine, and instead have blamed another person for putting it there. I had to admit that at times I have believed another person's actions toward me caused my ugly response. I now realized something ugly was already within me before it seeped out in response to someone else. I didn't like what I saw under the surface of that old carpet, and I didn't like what I saw under the surface of my heart either. So I scrubbed that floor until the old linoleum tile underneath looked like recently installed vintage flooring. As I scrubbed, I searched my heart for ugly lies I could replace with clean truth. It was not fun work, but it was rewarding work. And I learned 4 important things about working on relationships. 1, when I see how much work is needed, I want to cover it up again. That was my reaction when the first strip of carpet was pulled up. Yuck! I don't have time for this. Let's just cover it back up. It is dirty underneath, but it doesn't look that bad on the surface. This is also how difficult relationships are often handled. We want to remain ignorant because it's easier. But contrary to the popular phrase, ignorance does not bring bliss. Exposing truth can only be good for us and others. Number 2, once I see the ugliness underneath, I can't leave it there. The nagging of truth is a nuisance. It is also a blessing. When we know about a lie, a lack of forgiveness, or any other ugliness existing within us, we can't help but pursue it. Something reflecting God inside of us wants to hunt it down and cut it out to replace it with fruit of His Spirit. Number 3, I can make big change if I focus on only the next step. When the carpet and padding was gone, I was overwhelmed with the amount of knees on floor hand scrubbing I needed to do. After 1 hour, I had made very little progress and wanted to give up or hire someone else to do the dirty work. But as I focused on just one little section of the floor at a time, putting the large project at the back of my mind, I started to see progress. I wouldn't look at the entire floor for an hour or 2, and then when I did look, I'd see that a long strip was clean, then half the room, then the entire floor. Broken or unbalanced relationships cannot be healed quickly, but focusing on one small area will lead to the next and the next, until we find ourselves in a new and renewed place together. Number 4. Feeling clean is my greatest reward. I love lounging in our newly floored room. I hadn't realized how little time I had spent in that room until now that I love being in it. I hadn't realized how little time I had spent in that room until now that I love being in it, playing with my kids on the floor, reading in the lounge chair, having a family picnic in the middle of the floor. I know what is under the surface in that room, and though it is not perfect, it is clean. How many of our relationships are kept at the surface level because we are fearful of the hard work of repairing them? Our souls become at peace within us when we have cleaned up our side of a relationship. Gone is the awkwardness, the anxiety, the fear, and the shame. What remains is the enjoyment of simply being together, getting to know each other again, accepting the humanness in each other. There is nothing better than this grace-filled love for each other. It was naive of me to think that my husband and I were simply moving old carpeting in our family room. God always has bigger and more rewarding plans for His children than we have for ourselves. And while it is never easy to be taught a lesson by the great teacher, it feels good to know He loves me enough to correct me when I need it. Now we're going to take a moment and share with you something we're really excited about.
Hi, I'm Daniela Najoli, Director of the Motherless Daughters Ministry. Our Connection and Conversation Circles is the newest part of our holistic empowerment section of the ministry. The circles bring together women from across the country and from around the world to build community, find a sense of belonging beyond our support groups, and to share their journeys with other women who truly understand. We just wrapped up a powerful 4-week session where hearts were opened, new bonds were formed, and healing took root. So many daughters have found comfort, gained so much clarity, and made many connections in this space. And now it's your turn. Not quite sure if the connection and conversation circles are for you? Here's what other participants had to say. This was a wonderful and comforting opportunity, and I believe this group will be continuing on its own. I really like the way we opened with prayer and acknowledged that there is a God who cares about our grief. I appreciate how we could share our thoughts with others in the group and how they affirm our experiences. I appreciated the confidentiality piece. It was nice to be anonymous. I didn't have to filter anything. The quality of group leaders who also experienced mother loss, connections within the group, and learning from one another. So we invite you to register today for our next Connection and Conversation Circle at motherlessdaughtersministry.com. Click the What We Offer link at the top of the website and scroll down to our Holistic Empowerment section to find our latest Connection and Conversation Circle offerings. Come as you are, and remember, you are not alone.
Now, let's hear some reflections on the podcast from our podcast administrator, Sarah Lynn Wells.
Thank you, Chris, for that powerful message and metaphor. Can't you just picture that floor? I have 2 young, adventurous little boys at home. No matter how much I clean, Sometimes I'm not sure I want to know what is likely collecting under the surface of the carpet. I could picture her description so well. On the surface, it might not look so bad, but once you start pulling it up layer by layer, you reveal what's underneath. Old dirt, stains, and a lot of mess that's been hiding for years. Chris uses this image to describe what it feels like to face our inner pain, especially the kind that come from a deep loss, such as losing your mother. And she reminds us that the process of healing isn't clean, it isn't quick, and it definitely isn't easy. But the good news is, it's possible. We all have layers. Layers we've built over time to protect ourselves. Layers of anger, denial, guilt, even just survival. These aren't bad, they're part of being human. But if we never look beneath the layers, we can't truly heal. Maybe, like Chris, you've realized you've spent years focusing on what others have done to you, and that's valid. Your pain is real. But healing requires something more. It invites us to look at ourselves, not with judgment, but with curiosity and honesty. Are there emotions that I'm burying? What conversations am I avoiding, even with myself? Are there things I'm holding on to when maybe I need to give them to God? These are hard questions, but they're important. You don't have to do it all at once. In fact, you shouldn't. Healing is like cleaning that floor. You have to start in one small area. You get down on your knees, metaphorically or literally, and you begin to scrub. You let yourself cry. You let yourself remember. You let yourself feel. And slowly, maybe painfully slowly, clarity begins to come. And so does peace. This isn't about perfection. Healing doesn't mean you forget the pain or that everything becomes easy. It means you learn to live with what's true and grow from it. It means the mess no longer defines you. There's something beautiful about the idea that beneath all those layers of pain and protection lies something solid, something worth restoring. Maybe it's your identity, maybe it's your voice, maybe it's your faith. And you don't have to do this work alone. If you're on this journey, just know there are others on this journey too. There are safe places and safe people where you're reminded that your healing matters. So today, I invite you to peel back just one layer. Maybe that's journaling a memory. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for something you've held on to for far too long. Maybe it's sitting in stillness. Maybe it's praying to God, meditating on scripture. Maybe it's just admitting that you're ready for change. One layer at a time, that's all it takes.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. If you are in need of more nurturing words and voices of experience, we encourage you to listen to our other episodes, hit subscribe, and come check out our Motherless Daughter resources on our website at motherlessdaughtersministry.com. You can also find us on our YouTube channel and in our Facebook community, Motherless Daughters Ministry. We hope you'll come visit us, and we look forward to you joining us again next time. Until then, stay well.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.